Listen carefully, because this moment will not return. There is a silence inside you, a pause so fragile you almost miss it. And within that silence, something whispers, you are not where you are meant to be. Not in the job that drains your soul. Not in the cycle that steals your joy. Not in the version of life that looks fine on paper, but feels empty in your bones. That discomfort you carry is not weakness. It is not failure. It is a signal, a transmission from the self that already lives the life you have been craving. The version of you aligned with purpose. A version of you breathing in freedom. But time is not waiting. Energy is not patient. Every choice you make now is pulling you closer or pushing you away. And the longer you stay in fear, in scarcity, in doubt, the louder the ache becomes. Science calls it entanglement. Two particles connected once remain connected forever. No matter the distance, when one changes, the other responds instantly. No delay, no barrier, pure resonance. What if that law is not only about particles? What if it is about you? About the self that is already thriving? What if your emotions right now, your frequency in this very breath, are shaping the timeline you meet tomorrow? The gap you feel is not a void. It is a bridge. It feels painful only because part of you is still vibrating with the past while another part is trying to leap into the future. The truth is simple. You are not summoning your dream life. You are remembering it. You are reconnecting with what has always been waiting. And if you do not align now, you risk losing the signal. This is the moment. This is the choice. Will you step into the frequency that already knows who you are becoming? Or will you keep repeating the pattern until the bridge collapses? Now, let me ask you, why do you think that discomfort has been chasing you? Why do you feel restless, even when everything looks fine on the outside? Because your biology knows. Because your cells are listening. Bruce Lipton showed us that beliefs and emotions rewrite the very language of your genes. When you feel trapped, your body is rehearsing old codes. When you feel possibility, your body writes new instructions. Which script are you allowing to run right now? Imagine a woman in California. On paper, she had everything. A stable job, a family routine, a path that looked safe. Yet inside she was crumbling. She thought her pain meant she was broken. She thought the unease meant failure. Until she discovered the truth. Her pain was not punishment. It was a call from her future self. A signal to shift. She listened. She changed her work. She aligned her choices. And what happened? The world responded. Her reality shifted to match her new frequency. What she once feared became her liberation dot. So I ask you again, what is the voice inside you saying right now? Will you dismiss it? Will you bury it beneath another day of pretending? Or will you stop and hear it clearly? Because if you do, everything changes. You may believe you need to push harder, to fight more, to climb a mountain before life allows you peace. But what if the opposite is true? What if the moment you stop resisting and finally listen, the signal strengthens? What if the bridge only appears when you step onto it? Think of it. Two realities exist. One is the life you are living. The other is the life you are meant for. And between them is not an empty space, but a door. The key is alignment. Not tomorrow. Not one day. Now, feel your breath. This very inhale is the proof that you are connected. That whisper you feel is not fantasy. It is memory. It is your higher self reaching through time, begging you to stop repeating the cycle of fear. If you have ever felt that whisper, if you have ever sensed that you are made for more, then I want you to declare it. Right now, write it below. Say it with certainty. I am listening to my higher self. Because when you claim it, when you speak it, you anchor it. You send a signal not only to yourself, but to the field that surrounds you. Do not wait. Do not let this chance dissolve into another moment of hesitation. The bridge is here. The signal is here. The call is here. So choose. Step forward. Speak it. I am listening to my higher self. And as you claim it, ask yourself one final question. If your dream life is not far away, if it already exists entangled with you, what will you do to meet it today? What you desire is not in some distant future. It is touching you in this very moment. Can you feel it? The pull, the pressure, the presence of a reality already here, already breathing against your skin. You think you must build it from nothing. You think you must fight, climb, struggle. But what if you are wrong? What if the life you long for is not waiting to be created, but waiting to be remembered? Ask yourself, why does the longing never leave? Why does the picture of your better life return again and again? Because it is not fantasy. It is memory. A fragment of a timeline already alive, already entangled with you. This is not about imagination. This is not about hope. This is about alignment. The only question is simple. Will you tune to the frequency of who you are becoming, or will you keep vibrating with the self that refuses to change? Physics has already revealed the secret. Quantum entanglement. Two particles, once connected, remain linked forever, no matter how far they travel, no matter the distance between them. When one shifts, the other responds instantly. Not later, not someday. Now, so consider this. What if the same law applies to you? To the you sitting here and to the you already living the life you desire? What if your emotions, your choices, your energy in this breath are pulling that future into view? The gap you feel is not emptiness. It is electricity. It is possibility. And it aches only because one part of you is still clinging to the old frequency while another part is fighting to leap. Imagine this. A young man in New York, surrounded by noise, pressure, endless competition. For years he believed he had to chase, to force, to grind harder than anyone else. Yet doors stayed closed. Opportunities slipped through his fingers. Until the day he stopped. Until the day he shifted inside. He chose calm instead of chaos. Trust instead of panic. Alignment instead of resistance. And suddenly, everything changed. Calls came. Work appeared. People noticed. Not because he did more, but because he finally resonated with the life already reaching for him. What about you? How long will you pretend you must build from the ground up? How long will you ignore the fact that your dream is already moving toward you? The only reason you cannot see it is because you are still vibrating with fear, with scarcity, with doubt. You cannot recognize abundance if your field is broadcasting lack. You cannot see freedom if your body is addicted to survival. You cannot step into purpose if your choices echo fear. So tell me, how much longer will you keep yourself locked out of a life that already exists? You have heard manifestation is about asking, waiting, repeating. But that is not the truth. The truth is more dangerous, more urgent, more real. You are not summoning. You are syncing. You are tuning your signal. You are remembering, and the signal is fragile. If you do not align, you lose it. If you delay, you weaken it. That is why this moment matters more than any future plan. Because reality does not respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you are now. So what are you being right now? What are you choosing in this exact second? Because every thought, every feeling, every action is a vote for the reality you meet tomorrow. Feel the urgency. This is not theory. This is physics. Entanglement means your future is not waiting patiently on the horizon. It is already moving, already shifting, already alive. But it can only meet you at your frequency. So I ask you, will you rise to it? Will you tune yourself like an antenna and broadcast belief instead of fear? Will you claim the life that is already pressing against you? If you believe your reality is already finding you, declare it now. Type it, anchor it. Say with certainty, I am aligned. I am sensed. I have already met my future. Do not wait for tomorrow. Do not wait for a sign. This is the sign. This is the moment. This is the bridge. And when you step onto it, when you finally allow yourself to sink, everything shifts. Not because the universe suddenly heard you, but because you finally heard it back. So claim it. I have already sensed. And then ask yourself this. If your future is already alive and entangled with you, what could possibly stop you from becoming the architect of it all? Your very act of observing changes the world around you. Do you realize the weight of that? Do you see the power hidden in that simple truth? You have been told you are powerless. That life happens to you. That circumstances decide your fate. But what if that story is wrong? What if your awareness itself is the lever that tilts reality? Think about it. In the quantum world, particles exist as probabilities until they are observed. A wave of infinite potential collapses into a single outcome. And who collapses it? The observer. Which means every time you look, every time you focus, you are shaping. You are choosing. You are sculpting the raw clay of reality. So why have you been living as if you are just a bystander? Why have you allowed yourself to believe that you are powerless in the face of your surroundings? You are not powerless. You are the antenna. You are both the receiver and the transmitter. Your mind is not just processing information. Your consciousness is broadcasting a signal, a frequency, and the field around you responds. Every thought you repeat, every emotion you sustain, every belief you embody, all of it is a broadcast, a transmission, a command whispered into the quantum field. Now, let me ask you, what are you broadcasting right now? Fear or trust? Scarcity or abundance? Survival or creation? Because the field is not neutral. It is listening. It is mirroring. It is collapsing into form, exactly what you insist on rehearsing inside yourself. Greg, Braden has shown us that when the brain and the heart move in harmony, something extraordinary happens. The body stops fighting itself. The field begins to respond coherently, and doors that seemed shut forever suddenly open. This is not mysticism. This is coherence. A measurable state where thought and feeling align into one clear signal. And that signal is what bends reality. Consider the story of a soldier in America. He returned from war broken, carrying wounds no one could see. His mind replayed terror. His body shook with memories he could not silence. He believed he was ruined, that he would live as a victim of his past, until he discovered coherence, until he learned to slow his breath, calm his mind, and let his heart speak again. Through heart-brain meditation, he shifted his state. Day after day, he trained himself to broadcast peace instead of fear, wholeness instead of fracture. And do you know what happened? The nightmares faded. The panic eased. His relationships healed. Work opportunities appeared. The world changed because he changed his signal. He did not force anything outside of him. He tuned the antenna of his awareness, and the field responded. So tell me, if a man haunted by war can realign his life through the power of observation and coherence, what could you do with the same choice? What could you create if you stopped rehearsing fear and started transmitting trust? This is the invitation. Stop thinking of yourself as separate from reality. Stop believing the lie that you must wait for luck or fate. You are the observer, and the observer is not passive. The observer is the creator. Every time you choose what to focus on, you collapse one timeline and dismiss another. Every time you sustain an emotion, you broadcast a frequency that invites matching experiences. You are weaving your reality with every breath. The only question is whether you are weaving consciously or unconsciously. So what will it be? Will you keep feeding the field with fear? Or will you dare to broadcast from belief? Will you remain an echo of the past? Or will you tune yourself into the self that is already thriving? Do not underestimate this. This is not small. This is the root of your power. The very act of observing is a creative force. And if you are ready to claim it, declare it now. Write it, speak it, anchor it. I am the architect of my reality. When you do, you are not just typing words. You are sending a signal. You are collapsing a possibility into existence. You are stepping into the truth you were born to embody. So choose wisely. Because every glance, every focus, every breath is building your tomorrow. And now the question becomes unavoidable. If your awareness is this powerful, if your consciousness truly sculpts reality, then what is stopping you from living the life you desire right now? What you call a void is in truth the bridge carrying you into a new life. But have you noticed how heavy it feels? Have you wondered why the very space between where you are and where you long to be hurt so deeply? You think it is emptiness. You think it is absence. But it is not. It is the pressure of transformation. It is the tension of two realities pulling at you at once. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. The universe is not punishing you. It is mirroring you. Every vibration you send, every signal you repeat, every emotion you rehearse, the field responds. It reflects back the song you keep playing inside. So ask yourself, what song have you been repeating? Is it fear? Is it lack? Is it doubt? Because if 90 to 95% of your actions are being run by your subconscious, as Dr. Joe Dispenza has revealed, then most of what you live today is not a conscious choice. It is an old program, a memory playing on loop, and that is why the bridge feels like pain. Because part of you is clinging to the program, while another part is straining toward the future. Two frequencies fighting inside one body. No wonder you feel torn apart. But what if the pain is not the problem? What if the pain is the proof? Proof that you are already standing on the bridge. Proof that you are already in motion. Because discomfort is not emptiness. Discomfort is alignment pulling you forward faster than your mind wants to go. Picture this. A man in Silicon Valley. On the outside, he was successful. A career, investments, contacts. But inside, he was drowning. Every deal ended the same way. Every relationship collapsed under stress. He thought he was cursed. He thought the void meant failure. Until he discovered the truth. His subconscious beliefs were broadcasting fear, mistrust, scarcity. And the universe simply reflected it back. When he changed the belief, everything else changed. Slowly at first, then suddenly. Partnerships healed. Opportunities expanded. Finances multiplied. Not because the outside world magically shifted on its own, but because he walked across the bridge. He stopped calling it emptiness and started treating it as a passage. So what about you? How long will you call it nothing? How long will you mistake the bridge for a void? How long will you let pain convince you that you are stuck, when in fact pain is the signal that you are moving? This is the moment to decide. Will you stay rehearsing the old emotions that keep you trapped? Or will you accept the tension as the cost of becoming? The universe has only one rule. It reflects coherence. If you broadcast fear, it echoes fear. If you broadcast trust, it echoes trust. If you hold back, the bridge shakes beneath you. But if you step boldly, the bridge carries you faster than you thought possible. The pain will not vanish overnight, but it will shift. It will become fuel. Every ache reminding you that you are alive, that you are growing, that you are not stuck at all. You are crossing dot, so feel into this truth. The bridge hurts only because you are still split. 1 foot in the past, 1 foot in the future. But what happens when you finally plant both feet on the new frequency? What happens when you declare with certainty that you will no longer call yourself stuck? Say it now. Anchor it now. Comment it clearly. I am no longer stuck. Let that declaration be your first step across. Let it be the moment the bridge steadies beneath you, because this is not a void. It never was. It is a sacred passage charged with possibility. And the only question left is this. If the pain is the proof you are crossing, then why do you keep rehearsing the emotions that hold you back, even when you know they hurt you? You are not repeating the past. The past is running you. Let that sink in. How many times have you thought you were making a choice, only to realize it was the same choice you made yesterday? How many times have you promised yourself change, only to feel the same fear, the same doubt, the same lack pulling you back? This is not weakness. This is programming. Your subconscious is the scriptwriter, and 90% of your life is a rerun of emotions you did not consciously choose. You think you are in control, but your body has become addicted to the very feelings you say you hate: anxiety, scarcity, sadness, anger. These emotions are not just passing states. They are chemicals. And your body, like a drug, craves them. Every time you replay the memory, every time you recycle the fear, your brain fires the same circuits. And the more it fires, the stronger the wiring becomes. Until you are not remembering pain. You are rehearsing it. You are living it again and again. So ask yourself, how much of your life is truly new? How much is just repetition dressed as reality? You are not repeating the past. The past is repeating you. But here is the secret. Neuroplasticity. The brain is not fixed. The brain rewires. The brain changes with every new thought, every new emotion, every new choice. And that means your prison is not permanent. Your habits are not destiny. Your chemistry is not fate. A woman in Texas discovered this truth. For years, she lived inside sadness. She thought it was her personality. She thought it was who she was. But the truth was darker. She was addicted to it. Her body craved the familiar chemicals of sorrow. And every time she tried to break free, her subconscious pulled her back. Until one day she decided to change, not with massive leaps, but with micro shifts. A different thought in the morning. A deeper breath before speaking. A choice to smile even when it felt unnatural. Small changes. Daily. Consistent. At first her body resisted. It screamed for the old feelings. It begged for sadness like a drug. But she refused. And slowly her brain rewired. Slowly her body broke the addiction. Slowly she became free. And when she did, her life unfolded. Relationships grew. Opportunities arrived. Energy returned. Not because the world changed on its own, but because she broke the loop. So what about you? How long will you let old emotions run your present? How long will you feed the chemistry of fear while dreaming of freedom? How long will you confuse the comfort of familiarity with the truth of who you could be? This is the moment to wake up, to see the loop for what it is. Addiction, not destiny. Habit, not identity. And if you are ready to end it, claim it now. Say it with power. Write it with certainty. I am free. Because when you declare it, you begin to rewire. You send a signal to your brain, to your body, to your field. You choose freedom instead of repetition. The loop will fight back. It always does. The past will beg to be remembered. The body will crave the old chemicals. But every time you choose differently, you weaken it. Every time you refuse the old emotion, you take back control. You are not powerless. You are plastic. You are rewiring. You are free to create a new pattern, a new chemistry, a new life. So I ask you one last question. If the subconscious is this powerful, if it can run almost your entire life without you noticing, then what will it take for you to break the addiction to old emotions and finally step out of fear and delay? Fear is not the enemy. It is the signal that you are standing on the edge of change. But what do you usually do when fear appears? You step back. You wait. You tell yourself you are not ready yet. And then days pass. Weeks pass. Years pass. The dream fades. Not because you lacked talent. Not because you lacked time. But because you listened to fear as if it was a wall, not a warning. So ask yourself, how many times have you delayed action even when you knew exactly what you needed to do? How many times have you buried your next step under the illusion of safety? Procrastination is not laziness. It is protection. Your brain is designed to keep you alive, not to make you extraordinary. It recognizes risk. It senses uncertainty. And it whispers, stay where you are. Do not move. Do not change. And you mistake that whisper for truth. Statistics show that 20% of adults struggle with chronic procrastination. 1 in 5 people. Entire lives placed on hold because fear was misunderstood. Because hesitation became a habit. Because the safe zone became a prison. But the truth is different. Fear is not a stop sign. It is a green light. A signal that you are close to the edge of transformation. Close to the version of you that already exists on the other side of hesitation. Let me tell you about a student at Harvard. Brilliant, ambitious, but trapped in cycles of delay. Every assignment was late. Every opportunity postponed. He told himself he worked better under pressure. But deep inside, he was afraid. Afraid to fail. Afraid to succeed. Afraid of what would happen if he stepped out of his comfort zone. Until he learned the 5-second rule from Mel Robbins. A rule so simple, it seemed impossible. Count backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Move. Act before the brain can talk you out of it. Act before fear disguises itself as logic. And for the first time in his life, he broke the cycle. He spoke up in class. He submitted work early. He applied for opportunities he would have avoided. And slowly, his life began to match his potential. So what about you? How many bridges have you refused to cross because fear felt like danger? How many dreams have you delayed because procrastination convinced you it was safer to wait? This is not about working harder. It is not about discipline alone. It is about reprogramming the moment fear arrives. It is about recognizing that fear is not a stop. It is a sign. The closer you get to transformation, the louder the signal becomes. And here is the key. Action is the antidote. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now. Because every time you hesitate, the brain strengthens the habit of delay. Every time you act, you weaken it. You tell your body, I am safe in change. I am safe in movement. I am safe in growth. So let me ask you again. What is fear really saying to you? Is it telling you to stop? Or is it warning you that you are standing on the very edge of breakthrough? If you are ready to break free from delay, claim it now. Write it with certainty. Say it with power. I act now. Because when you declare it, you shift the pattern. You remind your brain that hesitation is not who you are. Do not underestimate this. Fear will return. Procrastination will whisper. But you will know the truth. You will know that hesitation is not protection. It is sabotage. You will know that every time you count down and move, you are rewriting your future. So choose in this moment. Will you wait one more day? Or will you step forward now? The signal is still loud, or the bridge is still strong? Because the question is no longer if you can act. The question is this: if working harder does not solve delay, then what will? What is the real path to freedom, if not the courage to move in the very moment fear arrives? In the quantum world, forcing only creates friction. Have you felt it? That endless cycle of pushing harder, working longer, repeating affirmations until your throat is dry, yet nothing changes. You try to force reality into submission, but instead of opening, it resists. Instead of flowing, it tightens. And you wonder why not? So let me ask you, what if the reason nothing shifts is because effort alone is not the key? What if the very act of forcing is what blocks the door? The truth is unsettling. Your life does not respond to how hard you grind. It responds to how aligned you are. Alignment is not about adding more hours, more strain, more desperation. Alignment is when your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions vibrate in harmony. When you stop saying one thing, feeling another, and doing something entirely different, not think about it. You affirm abundance while secretly fearing lack. You visualize success while replaying failure. You act confident while your heart trembles with doubt. That split is the friction. That dissonance is why nothing moves. Science has already confirmed this. Epigenetics proves that the environment of the mind reshapes the biology of the body. Belief, emotion, perception, they flip genetic switches on or off. Your body is listening. Your cells are recording. And if your inner world is chaos, your outer world cannot stabilize. So the question is not, how much harder can you try? The real question is, how coherent can you become? Let me tell you about an author in Los Angeles. For years, she repeated affirmations every morning. She filled journals with words of success. She forced positivity, believing it would manifest her dream. But the more she forced, the more stuck she felt, until she realized the missing piece. Words without alignment are empty. She stopped forcing. She began to embody. She tuned her emotions to match her vision. She aligned her choices with her values. And slowly, action stopped being pressure and became flow. The result? A book deal, a bestseller, a career she once thought impossible, unlocked not by force, but by coherence. So what about you? How long will you keep forcing reality, believing effort alone will break the lock? How long will you ignore the fact that it is not about working harder, but about aligning deeper? This is your invitation to stop scattering your energy across conflicting signals, to stop declaring one thing while embodying its opposite, to stop creating friction with the very field that wants to support you. And here is the paradox. The moment you stop forcing, doors open. The moment you align, reality responds. Not because you tried harder, but because you finally became congruent. So feel this truth. You do not manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. You do not receive from effort. You receive from coherence. What would happen if you stopped chasing with fear and started choosing with certainty? What would unfold if your mind, your heart, and your actions all broadcast the same frequency? This is not weakness. This is mastery. To align is harder than to force. To align demands honesty. It demands coherence between your inner and outer worlds. But when you reach it, friction dissolves. Flow replaces struggle. If you understand this, declare it now. Anchor it with words that carry weight. Comment, I am fully aligned. Because when you say it and feel it and act on it, you collapse the old dissonance and step into congruence. No more empty affirmations. No more pushing against reality. From this moment on, the path is alignment. So I leave you with one question. If trying harder is not the key, then how will you live when you finally act from pure alignment. The universe does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you are. Let that truth shake you for a moment. Because how many times have you begged, wished, or prayed for something different, only to watch nothing change? How many times have you shouted your desires into the void, but the void stayed silent? So ask yourself, what if the silence was never rejection? What if it was reflection? A mirror of the signal you are broadcasting right now. Desire alone does not move reality. Wanting harder does not bend the field. The universe is not responding to your wishes. It is responding to your embodiment, to the person you are being every single day. That is the secret. Intention is the spark. Emotion is the fuel. Action is the anchor. Together, they form a signal so clear that the field cannot ignore it. Think of it like this. A radio does not play what you want. It plays what you tune into. You can scream for a different station all day, but until you change the dial, nothing shifts. And your life works the same way. Joe Dispenza has shown that when you combine a clear intention with an elevated emotion, your brain rewires. Circuits fire differently. Chemistry changes. Possibilities open. But intention without emotion is flat. Emotion without action is scattered. Only when the three align does the signal cut through the noise. So the question is not, what do you want? The question is, who are you being? A couple in Chicago discovered this in their marriage. Years of disconnection. Years of frustration. They wanted change, but nothing worked. Until they created one ritual. Every morning they asked each other, who do we want to be today? Not what do we want to get? Who do we want to be? Then they lived into that answer. Day after day. Small actions. New emotions. A fresh intention. Slowly their relationship transformed. Not because they begged the universe, but because they became the people who already lived the love they desired. So what about you? Are you still screaming for change while living as the same old self? Are you asking for freedom while embodying fear? Are you praying for abundance while vibrating scarcity? This is the moment to choose differently. To broadcast a new signal. To shift from wishing to being. Do not underestimate the power of small actions. One choice, aligned with a new identity, carries more weight than 1,000 empty affirmations. One elevated emotion, sustained for minutes, rewires your brain faster than hours of doubt. One clear intention, backed by action, announces to the universe, I am no longer who I was. And the universe responds, not because you forced it, not because you demanded it, but because you finally matched the frequency of the life already waiting for you. So here is the invitation. Decide right now who you are choosing to be today. Anchor it with feeling. Embody it with action. Let every word, every choice, every breath carry the frequency of the future you claim. If you are ready, declare it now. Comment with certainty. I have chosen my new self. Let it be the first action of alignment. Let it be the start of your new broadcast. Because the universe is not blind. It is precise. It reflects who you are, not what you want. And if you embody coherence, it cannot help but respond. So I ask you one final question. If the universe mirrors your being, how will you sustain alignment every day in the middle of a chaotic world? You do not need to be perfect. You only need to be consistent. But how many times have you quit before the finish line because results did not appear fast enough? How many times have you started with fire only to burn out in silence? You believe perfection is the key, yet perfection paralyzes. What truly transforms you is persistence. So let me ask you, what if the smallest choice today, repeated tomorrow, and again the next day, is more powerful than the biggest burst of effort? What if the life you crave is not waiting for flawless execution, but for steady devotion? The truth is simple. Transformation is not a single leap. It is a ritual. And rituals are not about scale. They are about consistency. Science has already proven this. Research from MIT on the habit loop shows that small repeated actions rewire the brain. Micro choices create macro change. Each repetition strengthens a circuit until it becomes who you are. Not just what you do. So why do you demand perfection from yourself when your brain demands consistency? Here is the formula. 3 steps. Step 1. Choose your identity. Who are you becoming? Not what do you want. Who do you choose to be today? Step 2. Take micro actions. Tiny steps that reinforce that identity. A thought, a breath, a gesture. Step 3. Encode emotion. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the pride as if the transformation has already unfolded. These 3 steps create a loop so strong that your old patterns cannot survive. Now, imagine this. A single mother in Florida, exhausted, struggling, ready to give up. She wanted change, but perfection seemed impossible. So she committed to 90 days of ritual. Every morning she chose her identity. Every day she took one micro action. Every night she encoded emotion by writing the feelings she wanted to live tomorrow. Day after day. No perfection, just persistence. 90 days later, her world shifted. Confidence rose. Opportunities appeared. Relationships healed. Life responded to her consistency. So what about you? Will you continue demanding perfection, using it as the excuse that keeps you from starting? Or will you embrace the truth that consistency is enough? This is not about speed. This is not about scale. This is about repetition. Because repetition writes identity. Repetition engraves reality. Think of water carving stone. Not in one strike, but in countless drops. Each drop seems small, but together they transform mountains. Your rituals are the drops. Your consistency is the current. And your life is the stone being reshaped. So feel the urgency. Every day you delay, you strengthen the loop of the old self. Every day you repeat, you strengthen the loop of the new self. The question is not if you are practicing a ritual. The question is, which ritual are you practicing? If you are ready to commit, claim it now. Anchor it with certainty. Comment, I commit to practice. Let it be your first act of consistency. Let it be the beginning of 90 days that could rewrite your entire life. Perfection is a trap. Consistency is freedom. And when you choose freedom, you choose transformation. So I leave you with this. What happens when micro choices accumulate over time? What reality will you carve if you no longer chase perfection, but embrace persistence? Your life does not change through one giant leap, but through thousands of small steps. But how often have you waited for that one breakthrough moment? That dramatic shift that will suddenly rewrite everything. The big break, the miracle, the overnight success. And yet, it never comes. Why? Because transformation is not built in a single strike. It is built in layers, step by step, choice by choice. So let me ask you, what if the smallest decisions of your day carry more power than the biggest dreams in your head? What if the way you breathe, the way you think, the way you act in this moment is the lever that shifts your entire destiny? This is not about sudden explosions of effort. This is about consistency. This is about accumulation. Darren Hardy called it the compound effect. The principle that small choices, repeated over time, do not just add up, they multiply. They create exponential impact. They turn into results that feel impossible to explain, but undeniable to experience. Think about it. A single bite becomes weight gained over years. A single dollar invested becomes wealth over decades. A single thought repeated becomes belief, and belief shapes reality. Nothing is neutral. Every choice is a vote for the life you will one day live. So what are you voting for? Let me share the story of an American athlete. Once celebrated, then broken. Injuries, losses, career nearly gone. He wanted a miracle, but the miracle never arrived. Until he realized he did not need a miracle. He needed micro shifts. He changed one thing in his training. Just one small adjustment repeated daily. A new warm-up, a new routine, a micro habit, and slowly his body healed. His performance rose. His career resurrected. From the outside, it looked like a comeback. From the inside, it was just the compound effect of small steps, done consistently. So what about you? Are you still waiting for the giant leap? Are you still fantasizing about the single moment that saves you? Or are you ready to honor the small steps, knowing they hold the real power? Every choice you make today matters. The food you eat, the words you speak, the thoughts you allow, the actions you take. Each one is a signal. Each one compounds. Each one carries you closer or further from the life you claim to want. Do not underestimate this. The smallest choice today, repeated for 90 days, could alter the trajectory of your entire life. So feel the urgency. Because time compounds too. Every delay is compounded. Every hesitation multiplied. And the cost is not small. The cost is your future. If you are ready to reclaim it, anchor it now. Comment with certainty. I choose again right now. Let that be your first small step. The first vote for a reality you actually want to live. Because the compound effect is not optional. It is always at work. The only question is, are you compounding fear or freedom? Scarcity or abundance? Survival or creation? Your life is not waiting for one giant leap. It is waiting for your next small step. So ask yourself this. How will you know if you are adjusting in the right direction? How will you measure the trajectory of your micro choices before they become the story of your life? The universe always hears the signal you send, and it is waiting for your declaration right now. Can you feel it? The pulse of possibility surrounding you in this very breath. The quiet pressure of a moment that will never return. The universe is not ignoring you. It is listening. It is leaning in. It is waiting for the clarity of your voice. So ask yourself, what are you broadcasting in this exact second? Fear or faith? Doubt or conviction? Hesitation or decision? Because what you declare now is the seed of the reality you meet tomorrow. This is not theory. This is resonance. Collective energy has been measured. In 1993, a meditation group gathered in the United States. Thousands joined in silence. Their intention was simple: peace, and the impossible happened. Crime rates dropped. The energy of an entire community shifted because a field of coherence was created. That is the power of a collective declaration. That is the proof that your signal is never alone. So why would you hold back your own declaration now? Why would you silence the very signal that the universe is waiting to amplify? You have walked through the journey. You have heard the call. You know that alignment is not passive. It is chosen. And now it is your turn to choose. This is the moment. The bridge. The point where thought becomes form. Where words become worlds. Where intention becomes reality. So declare it. Anchor it. Comment with power. I am aligned. I have sensed. I have declared my new reality. This is not just a sentence on a screen. This is a quantum announcement. A vibration that echoes into the field. A declaration that you will no longer live as the old self. And as you declare it, something larger awakens. A community. A field. A network of others standing in their truth beside you. Together the signal grows. Together the resonance strengthens. Together we create a current strong enough to shift not only individual lives, but the world we share. So feel the urgency. Do not scroll past. Do not delay. Type it now. Anchor it now. I am aligned. I have declared. This is my moment. And once you do, take the next step. Share this message so others can join. Let your signal ripple beyond you. Like and comment so the resonance amplifies. Subscribe so you stay inside the current, because this is not the end. This is the beginning. You are not just watching. You are transmitting. You are shaping. You are sending a declaration into the fabric of reality itself. So I ask you one last time. Will you let this moment pass as if it were nothing? Or will you claim it as the moment you became the architect of your own reality? The universe is listening. It is waiting. And now it is your move. What will you declare?